Stop that illegal digging right now. Those were the first words she screamed at me from across my own farm, like she was some kind of neighborhood police officer. This HOA Karen in her fancy pink bathrobe called the real police on me while I was just digging a hole to fix my fence on my own land. Just a normal Saturday job, right? But no way. She turned into a huge neighborhood fight. And let me tell you, she had no idea what kind of trouble she just started. See, that's how this whole crazy story began. It was a simple morning. The kind of morning you hope for after working hard all week. It was only 6 in the morning, and there I was sitting on my front steps with my coffee, watching the sun come up over the land my daddy left me when he died. The air was cold and fresh, just the way I love it about this place. I had a plan for the day. Fix 50 feet of fence before lunch. The old fence was getting eaten up by bugs and falling apart. My dad always told me, "Son, there are two kinds of problems, the ones you fix right away and the ones that get worse and hurt you later." So I thought I'd better fix it before the next big storm made that choice for me. By 7:30, I started up my little digging machine and began making holes for the fence posts. I was already sweating through my shirt, but everything felt just right with the world. About 2 hours later, I was taking a break next to my truck when I saw her, Barbara Mitchell, the self-appointed queen of our neighborhood association. She was marching across my property line, like she was leading an army. Pink silk bathrobe, expensive slippers, perfect hair, you know the type. And that voice, sharp as broken glass, yelling, "You're breaking HOA Rule 4.2b about keeping things looking nice." She went on and on about rules and getting permission and committees, like any of that mattered when someone is fixing their own fence on their own land. Now here's the real story. This wasn't really about fence posts. Barbara and her husband used to own this land way back before they ran out of money and had to sell it to my dad for cheap. She tried to buy it back from me twice since Daddy died, and both times I said no, nicely but firmly. So this fence thing was really about her wanting to control me and get back what she thought she lost. When I showed her the official papers proving the land was mine, she didn't care. Next thing I know, she's got her phone out calling the police, lie about me being mean and dangerous and how scared she was. 20 minutes later, Sheriff Johnson showed up. He's a good man who's seen this kind of nonsense before. You could tell by his face, he already knew what was really going on. I gave him all my papers, the deed showing I own the land, permits, survey maps, everything. He looked at it all, walked around checking the fence line, and finally said everything was legal and fine. But Barbara wouldn't give up. She kept acting scared and begging the sheriff to punish me. County rules say he had to give me a warning just to be safe. So he handed me a paper and took the keys to my digging machine. Barbara was smiling like she just won $1 million, telling me I should learn to work better with my neighbors. I stood there in my own yard watching her walk back to her huge fancy house with the big white columns, and something inside me snapped, like maybe this was a day I stopped being pushed around just to keep peace. I could almost hear my dad saying, sometimes the system takes time to work, but when it does, it works completely. A few hours later, just when I was thinking maybe I should give up, there was a knock at my door. It was Maria, my neighbor, a sweet older lady from down the road. She came here from Mexico in the 1990s and worked super hard for everything she has. She put a small computer drive in my hand and said, "I recorded everything." That woman lied to the police. It turns out Maria had watched the whole thing from her kitchen window. Clear as day. You could hear every word Barbara said on the recording. That little drive changed everything. I took it straight to the sheriff's office with all the paperwork. Sheriff Johnson watched that video twice. His jaw so tight, I thought his teeth might break. The problem was, he told me county rules are slow, even with proof. And Barbara had friends all over City Hall. This wouldn't be my last headache. And boy, was he right. By evening, Barbara had called half the town council, city planners, even a local newspaper, making me look like some dangerous person who was ruining the peaceful neighborhood life. When I got home, there was a pile of nasty garbage dumped right in front of my garage. My security cameras were painted black, so they couldn't see, and there was a violation notice from the HOA. The notice said I was being fined for ugly materials left on property. Can you believe that? It was like getting robbed and then getting in trouble for being robbed. That's when they make everyone hate him plan started. People who had always been friendly suddenly didn't want to talk to me. Work jobs disappeared overnight. Customers canceled. Neighbors looked away when they saw me, and the fines kept coming. But what really hurt was walking out to the barn and touching my dad's old workbench, thinking about what he would do. Running away, he'd say, just tells bullies they can win. So I decided to fight back quietly. I got better security cameras this time, hidden ones with night vision that saved everything to the internet. If Barbara wanted to play dirty, I was going to record every second. And sure enough, the attack got worse. Truckloads of trash dumped at night. My truck tires cut with knives. My garage spray painted with bad words. The cops could only do so much because the video wasn't clear enough to arrest anyone. And Barbara's friends kept protecting her. But the third night, that was IT for me. I heard a chainsaw just before 3 in the morning. Her landscaping workers were cutting down the old oak tree my dad, and I planted to remember my mom. That tree was 30 years of my family's history growing right there. Watching it fall, well, let's just say I hadn't cried like that since Dad died. But being angry only gets you so far, right? That morning, I found my dad's old paperwork. Everything he ever signed, all organized perfectly. And buried in all those papers was the golden ticket. An agreement signed by Barbara's family letting their mansion get electricity across my land, as long as they never bothered us. Break that rule, and I could cut off their power, literally. I called my friend Tommy, a lawyer down in Dallas, and when he read that agreement, he just laughed. He said he'd never seen a stronger case in Texas law. So I filed the paperwork, got an official court order to cut off the power, had the power company ready to help, and the sheriff knew what was happening. I gave Barbara one last chance to make things right, say sorry in public, fix all the damage, and we'd call it even. Her answer? You have no idea who you're messing with. I'll destroy you. Okay, I thought, let's see about that. The next morning, the whole neighborhood came out. Some recorded with their phones, some just drinking coffee and waiting for the show. The power company truck rolled up with the sheriff right behind them, my friend Maria right up front. Barbara came running out, wild-eyed with her bathrobe flapping, making desperate phone calls that nobody answered. It was almost sad watching her realize she couldn't buy or bully her way out this time. Sheriff Johnson gave me one last chance to change my mind. I thought about Dad, my mom's tree, all the lies Barbara told, and just said justice is about consequences, not getting revenge. I pulled the switch. For a second, nothing happened. Then, quiet. The mansion went dark. Pool pump stopped, lights out, air conditioning silent, security system beeping like crazy. The crowd cheered, but all I could hear was the peaceful silence of my own land, finally free from her noise. What happened after was like watching Barbara's world fall apart in slow motion. Generator rentals, hotel bills, house put up for sale at a loss, husband left her, reputation ruined. The HOA kicked her out, elected Maria as president, and got rid of all those stupid rules about lawns and trucks. My business exploded. People from all over wanted to hire the guy who stood up to the HOA queen. The neighborhood changed, not just on the outside, but for real. People talking, helping each other, living without fear of some bully with a clipboard. So that's how it all went down. Me, a working man with a toolbox, my father's old paperwork, and a little bit of Texas law, up against $1 million bully. Funny how justice looks sometimes. A mansion sitting in the dark, a community finally breathing easy, and a cold drink on the porch looking out at a world that finally feels like home again. Now tell me this. Was I too harsh, or did Karen deserve every bit of it? Would you forgive someone like that? Or is there no coming back from what she did? Drop your thoughts below. Let's hear where you stand on justice, HOAs, and standing up for yourself.